Let me record as well. We're still in unit 11, so hopefully we finish it by today. It's missing some activities here. Very quickly, we're gonna check answers from the homework that we had. Exercise number 3. Yeah, exercise number 3. It was about checking this part, no? For example, here, the first one, remember all of these regrets, wishes, they are related to the past. Yeah, because if you remember this guy, an Australian boy grounded, he was grounded because he booked and he actually fly to Bali and he spent lots of money from his parents' credit cards, no? So all of these wishes, all of these things happen there in the past. And what we are revising here is these situations, unreal situations in the past. Kind of the ones we already checked, which should have, would have, could have, etc. No? For example, the first one, if he hadn't argued with his mother, he wouldn't have run away. No? Third conditional, past perfect plus would have, might have, could have, may have, etc. If only Drew's parents had kept, yeah, that is past perfect. If only, we can say only this, the first part. If the airline had asked for written permission, Drew wouldn't have been able to buy a ticket. Yeah. The next one, his grandmother wishes, here we need to conjugate wishes, she hadn't told him where his passport was. Why do we put past perfect here? Because it was a situation in the past, and the structure of wish tell us that we must write had, well, past perfect. The next one, it is if he hadn't used the self-service check-in, staff might have stopped him. No, staff might. The number 6, the immigration official should have checked that his mother was really waiting for him. Should have checked. Number 7, if the school hadn't contacted Drew's parents, they would have known he had run away. Supposing Drew hadn't posted, supposing is like a synonym of if. It's the same, if. Hadn't posted a video on social media, how long would it have taken to find him? Okay, so it was that homework. All right, just the second homework was this, but this was for classroom. Just give me one wish. Share to me one wish that you would like to tell the class. It could be about present or past. Any volunteers? I volunteer myself. I wish I had listened to my mom the moment she said that enter please to French class. I wish I could speak French fluently as well as English. That's my wish. What about you guys? Tell me one wish.
It's possible. My wish, let's people enjoy a complete health the next year.
I wish, remember the structure, I wish.
I wish people enjoy a complete health next year.
Just remember, I wish people would enjoy.
Good, yeah.
Another?
Sure.
Yes, Ali?
I wish I had more money to buy more Christmas gifts.
All right, thank you. Let's see, Jessica.
I wish that I could write.
Okay,
If only I had a bike, I would have visited my friends.
all right. Another Jessica.
If only I hadn't got that haircut.
All right, thank you. Thank you for sharing your wishes. Yeah, it's really, really important to practice this part, no? Especially because they are coming in the exam. All right, let's move on to the next part. It's a reading and a speaking. We're not doing this. If you were an animal, which animal would you be? No, don't consider it so important. Instead, we'll focus on this reading part, which is, have you ever wondered, have you ever asked yourself, have you ever wondered about these things? Do you know or can you think of the answers of any of these questions? The first question is, why are the buttons on different size on men and women's clothing? I haven't noticed that, but I wish because of our complex. I guess because of our complex. No? Why is it so difficult to swat a fly? You know what is swat?
No,
Yeah. Do you know what fly is?
yes,
Yeah, zzz. So swat is this object, is an object that you use in order to kill or to smash the fly.
okay.
Have you ever wondered why is it so difficult to kill, to smash a fly?
No,
No, because maybe they're faster than us. They fly. They are just hanging around, food, you know. How many species live in or the human body? Have you ever wondered the species, the bacteria, and the germs inside our body?
Oh, incredible number now. It's a number.
Probably
Have met,
thousands.
have met.
Yeah, I don't know. Why do we dream? Any ideas? Why do we dream? What is the origin of the at symbol? Well, we're going to find out in a moment, right? Yeah, have you ever wondered answers to some of these puzzling questions in life? Sometimes give us headaches. Yeah, this kind of answers, this kind of questions, sorry. Okay, so it's missing some information in these readings, but we're going to ignore the gap that you have here, and we're going to read it together, right? Why is it so difficult to swat a fly? As you can see, that is the fly and the swat. Yeah, it has lots of eyes, as you can see. Who would like to read? Who says me?
Me?
Yep.
What is so difficult to swat a fly? That buzzing fly is really getting on your nerves. So you get your fly swatted and watch silently until the fly is resting. You get as close as you can, tense your muscles, and then talk. But the fly is happy buzzing around on the other side of the room. And yet you move so fast, how could it have got away? The fly's ability to escape has nothing to do with sensitivity to wind or noise. It's all to do with this eyesight and the span of the brain signals. Flies have around 60,000 tiny lenses in each eye, and their brains and nervous system can receive and process information 7 times faster than humans.
Continue.
There is a
Yeah,
block.
ignore the gap. High speed.
High-speed digital cameras show that from the fly's viewpoint, your hand is moving towards it very slowly. Within 30,000 knots of a second of seeing the swatter, the fly has worked out where it's coming from and how to jump away from it. Your hand takes about 200 of second to reach it. 150 times longer. So unless the fly is feeling a very groggy, you stand no chance. If you still want to try, the best strategy is to aim your swatter towards where you think the fly is going to jump rather than where it's now.
Do you have any questions about vocabulary?
No, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
what is growy or growy?
Groggy, it is like dizzy, mareado.
Oh, okay.
It's a synonym. Yeah, it's amazing how fast it could be. Yeah, next part, Jessica, let's read the first 2 paragraphs. Paola.
Yes. Have you ever borrowed a boyfriend's or girlfriend's coat and found that doing up the buttons felt weird? The reason for this strange inconsistency lie is the distant past. When men carried swords, they were born on the left, so they could draw them using the usually dominant right hand. If their jackets had buttons on the left, the handle of the sword could have easily got caught in their clothing as they pulled it across their body. It was also easier to slip the hand inside to pull out or a hidden weapon if clothing was buttoned this way.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
The other Jessica.
So how come women's buttons are different? Well, in the 17th and 18th centuries, all buttons were made by hand. And because they were expensive, they were only used on the clothes of the wealthy. It wasn't considered proper for wealthy women to dress themselves. They had servants to do it for them. And the servants found it easier to do up the bottoms on someone facing them if they were on the left. In the late 19th century, when buttons became cheaper with mass production, all women wanted to copy the style of the wealthy, and the tradition has remained to this day.
To this day, yes. Any questions about vocabulary? No, I think it was easy. Yeah, easy reading. How many especially?
Swords, excuse me,
So sorry.
swords.
Swords.
Yeah.
Before having guns, guns. men and in wars in some like in the medieval times they have some war. So swords is the object like very sharp, long and sharp, and sometimes it can
Okay.
stack. You can stack a person from that. Yeah, that's a sword. Espada. Mhm. What about the other, number 3? How many species live in our human body? Who, Itzy?
Me, teacher?
Yeah,
Um, how many species live in or on the human body? There are about 200 species, including 80 in the mouth alone, which inhabit the human body. However, alongside this, our bodies are also host to mind-boggling number of bacteria. The total excreted by the body every day ranges from 100 billion to 100 trillion. The most densely populated areas of the human body are the teeth, throat, and digestive tract, which overflows with friendly bacteria that are essential to our health. Their numbers may be vast, but their scale is microscopic. If you put the billions of bacteria on your skin together, it will only be the size of a pea. Another life form that keeps us company is a common parasite, for example, the follicle mite. It's found down on every individual in huge numbers, and it's a good thing too, as they spend their days harmlessly munching dead skin cells, acting as invisible refuse recyclers. A less welcome guest is the human itch mite, which lays its eggs on under our skin, causing the intensely itchy condition known as scabies.
scabies. Yeah. Any questions about vocabulary that you have here?
Teacher, what's mean itchy?
Itchy? Like when you feel that feeling and then you scratch, itchy.
Okay, thank you.
Other? No?
No.
No, okay. Let's continue with why do we dream? Why do we dream, Sarai?
Some scientists, this dreaming is just a random byproduct of the fact that the brain can switch off completely during sleep. Others think it may be the brain lighting up its feeling system during the night, processing memories of their association. Psychologists see more meaning in our dreams and think we are practicing facing them again in different situations. I need to rehearse the most extreme worst case scenarios could explain recurring nightmares. Suppose you really did absolutely no revision for that exam. What if you got to work of college and had forgotten to put your trousers on? But our dreams can also show us important truths, and they sometimes seem to decide it's time we practice it, having the experiences we wish for so you can even fly. But is there any danger? Well, get out of bed and jump out of the window? Well, in 1951, psychologist Eugene Aserinsky connected his 8-year-old son to an early brainwave machine and watched the results throughout the night. They show that every 90 minutes we enter a different state in order to dream, called REM, because we display rapid eye movement However, most of our muscles switch off during this period, meaning that they flying and running away from monsters only happen in our heads.
Yeah, that's it. Any questions about vocabulary?
No, teacher.
Okay, then finally, the final reading for Emiliano until this paragraph, until the first paragraph only, right? Because Monica is missing. History.
What is the origins of the, how do you say arroba? At symbol. History serves at in email address commonly referred to as the at sign, stemmed from the tried hands of medieval monks during the Middle Age. Before the invention of the printing press, every letter of the word has to be painstakingly transcribed by hand of each copy of a book. The monks who performed these tedious copying duties, usually in Latin, looked for ways to reduce the numbers of individual strokes for common words. Although the word of ad in Latin ad is also short, it was so common that the monks wished it were even short, making it much quicker to write.
Thank you. Until there. Monica, finally. The symbol. Okay, I think she's in here. Okay, let's read it. The at symbol would have been largely forgotten in modern times if it hadn't been for a computer scientist called Ray Tomlinson in 1917. He wanted that symbol to separate a person name of that of their computer. Now all email addresses follow the format joe@myseveraaddress.com. The symbol has different, often charming names in different languages, many of which see the shapes of a kind of an animal. For example, Klameroafe is German for hanging monkey, Appenstachi, it's Dutch for monkey's tails, Kisahenta is Finnish for cat's tail, in Korean is a snail, dafangi. Papaki is Greek for little dog. Kukak is Hungarian for worm. Disehal is Norwegian for a pig's tail. Snavel is Danish for elephant's trunk. And Sobaka is for Russian little dog. No? So yeah, but basically it was for tedious copying duties of the Latin, because of the Latin. Any questions about vocabulary?
What's the mean pain is stackingly?
Painstakingly, paintingly, no.
Yeah.
Remember, there were writers dedicated to like transcript by hand copies of books or writing, like copying different novels like Bible or like lots of books. Well,
yeah,
it was like so hard, so boring, and so tired of doing that. So that's painstakingly, like hard, like endlessly. There was lots, hundreds, thousands sometimes of pages to transcript. Nowadays it's like easy peasy because of the digital era. It's not painstakingly, it's just actually it's a faster way to write.
And strokes.
looked for ways to reduce the number of individual strokes for common words. I'm not sure if it's syllables. It's a synonym of syllables. Let me look it up in a dictionary. Strokes. According to the dictionary, is a mark made by drawing a pen or a pencil or paintbrush in one direction across paper or canvas.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, like, well, not syllables, but drawings. All right, so there are missing information in each reading. Yeah, we have here like from A to E. So I want you to match the missing information, the lines, to each text. For example, here it says some 10 million occupy every square centimeter of our flesh. In letter B, it says they note that they often focus on our everyday anxieties. Letter C, as a result, they see in a slow emotion compared to us. Letter D, so they began to loop the D around the A. And finally, they are on the wrong side. Okay, I'll give you some time to match each text with these lines, all right? Only 4 minutes. 4 minutes, guys. So letter A, some 10 millions occupy every square centimeters. It's with the text of which text? Number
3.
Yeah, actually is number 3, letter A. Yeah. Letter B, with which text? They know that they often focus on our everyday anxieties. Number, which text?
4.
Yeah, 4 actually. Correct. Letter C.
1.
The 1. D.
5.
Yes,
Number 5.
number 5. And finally, number 2, letter E. No. All right, you can do this for homework. Exercise number 4 is about answering the questions. What can I fly escape from a fly swatter easily? what gives you the best chance of hitting. You can do that for homework. Yeah, it's the vocabulary. We already say some of them, and it's understandable. So the majority, it's understandable. So you don't have to do it. So let's move on to page. Not sure if this is worth it. It's a listening. Let's practice some listening. The listening is about dream discoveries. Yeah. Match these discoveries and achievements with people responsible for them. Let's see if you know about general knowledge. Let's go for the easiest, okay? The song of yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Who?
Paul
It
McCartney.
was, yeah, it was a member from the Beatles, Paul McCartney. The novel of Frankenstein. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, the novel of Frankenstein. Who wrote
Mary
that?
Shelley?
Yes, actually. Remember, Frankenstein is not a monster. Who is the monster? The scientist. The structure of DNA, any ideas?
James Watson.
James Watson, yeah.
James Watson, exactly. And finally, the greatest golfer of all time,
Jack Nicklaus.
Jack Nicklaus. Okay, so let's going to listen a radio program about dream discoveries. Yeah, and check your answers here. Which of the people was pleased to have a nightmare? You know what is a nightmare, right? A bad dream. Which of these people sang about scrambled eggs? Very unusual. Which of these people became a successful again because of the dream? And which speaker dream about the staircase? You know, staircase, escaleras. Let's listen to this program.
11.6 Dream Discoveries.
If our time finishes, can you, excuse me, can you connect again, please?
And now for our popular science slot. This week, the subject is dreams. We all love to tell people when we've had strange dreams. They can be funny, bizarre, and sometimes embarrassing. But did you know how many important discoveries and ideas are the result of dreams? Scientist Susan Williams has been doing some research into this, and she's here today to tell us about it. Susan, welcome. So, what are some of these dream discoveries?
Well, a famous example is James Watson, the Nobel Prize-winning American scientist. He said that the idea for the possible structure of DNA came to him after having a dream about a spiral staircase. Neuroscientists suggest that this kind of thing can happen because during REM sleep, we dream extra vividly, and new connections can be formed in the brain's network, so we are able to put ideas together in a way that would never have occurred to us when we're awake.
That's really interesting. What other examples are there?
Another very famous but very different example from many years ago is a young woman who had a dream about the mystery of human biology. She was called Mary Wollstonecraft, and in June 1816 she was still a teenager when she and her future husband, the poet Percy Shelley, visited another poet, Lord Byron, in Switzerland. One day it was too stormy to go out walking, so they all sat around in the library and read ghost stories to each other. They then decided to have a contest to see who could write the best ghost story. Mary struggled to find an idea, but then, that night, in a dream, she saw a vision of a man, a scientist, kneeling beside a monstrous body that he had created. It was a nightmare. The body began to come to life. Mary woke up. She was very frightened, but also delighted because at last she had her idea. "I have found it," she wrote, "and what terrified me will terrify others." Of course, it turned out to be a lot more than a story to share with friends. Mary's novel, Frankenstein, was published on the 1st of January 1818, when she was still only 20, and it is often described as the very first science fiction novel. I think the title of the book confuses many people, though. Frankenstein isn't the monster. Its creator is.
Yes, I believe that's a common mistake. So, tell me, are most dream discoveries rather dark and serious?
No, not at all. You know Paul McCartney, one of the Beatles? For me, the most famous pop group ever. Well, one morning in 1963, Paul woke up with a melody for a song in his head. It was fully formed and he thought, "That's great. I wonder what that is." He thought it must be something he'd heard somewhere and played it on the piano to people to see if they recognised it. No one did, so it was clearly his own composition. But he never felt like he'd written it because it had come ready-made in a dream, and it wasn't like anything he'd written before. No lyrics had come in the dream, and whenever he played it, he sang the words, "Scrambled eggs, oh my baby, how I love your legs." Imagine if he'd left it like that. In fact, this is a good example of how unconscious inspiration can still need some conscious work putting in, because it was 2 years before Paul had the lyrics right and recorded the finished song. He called it Yesterday, and it was a huge hit. In fact, it has been voted the #1 pop song of all time.
I've always loved that song. What about a final example, Susan?
OK, this time on a sporting note. From one of the greatest pop songwriters to one of the greatest golfers, Jack Nicklaus. He has told how he managed to get out of a losing run of games by paying attention to a dream. In 1962, aged 22, Jack won the US Open and then 2 more major world championships in 1963. However, in 1964, his form had dropped and he won none. One morning, he remembered he'd been dreaming about playing golf and he had played really well. So he tried to remember exactly what he'd done in the dream and